the Holy Gospel according to Saint Mark, the 4th chapter.
Glory to you, O Lord.
When evening had come, Jesus said to the disciples, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd behind, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. Other boats were with him. A great windstorm arose and the waves beating into the boat so that the boat was already being swamped. But Jesus was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And the disciples woke him up and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" Jesus woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Then the wind ceased, and there was a dead calm. Jesus said to the disciples, "Why are you afraid? Have you still no faith?" And the disciples were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
You all may be seated. And if I can see myself, I might bring my chair down. Let's see how that works. Get there. And see, I get my stuff. I like to start with a question. Friends, are you feeling overwhelmed? You know, after having the watermelon festival with the party having in my house, that's quite, it's like time to breathe. Or you gotta go to lots of places, Bettina. You go like, "Oh, what are you asking?" And it's a time for the lots of trouble. I mean, I'm sure in the farm is a busy place too. And if you're not feeling overwhelmed, that's okay too. You know, Bill, you finished writing books. You should be more relaxed now, right?
Exactly.
Than when you're writing. If you're not overwhelmed now, I just want to say, well, why don't you recall the time when you felt overwhelmed? Or maybe remember somebody you see that's overwhelmed. Just recall those times. You know, it's like going through the alligator pond when the storm is coming and you gotta get down before you get back. That kind of time to remember it. Because that is today's story. The overwhelmed story. Because the story today, what we read, it's a nice visual thing. You know, it's drawing that how to imagine the situation and that the boat out there and there's another boat out there and the waves coming there and clearly disciple scream like this. Who knows the English to read this one for me? That's pretty good. Thank you. That's what the situation is. And then what happened in the other side of the boat? Sleeping, yes. It's a weird story, isn't it? And I love the Gospel of Mark with the details it's put in there. Jesus is sleeping with a pillow. It's a weird thing. There's a cushion out there, they're sleeping on the pillow. And the disciples are going, "Ah!" This is the story that we heard today. Jesus is sleeping, and the disciples try to survive. You know, this is a story that the disciples told to the other people to remember. But this is also flesh-sharing. Can be a story for ourselves too. It's easy to be overwhelmed and screaming and trying to get the boat floating instead of flipping. And we all have the faith in Jesus Christ, who said, "I walk with you, I'm there with you all the time." As a Christian, we do not doubt that statement. Jesus is with us all that time. But there are also a time we know Jesus is there, but sometimes it just feels like, are you sleeping? The time feels like God is silent when I or my friends or the family feeling overwhelmed. So I have my example. Right? So the example is, let's see. You know, I volunteer at the animal shelter. Like, at least try to get twice a week to play with puppies. Clean their kennels, feed them, and my husband takes the puppies walk, and then puppy asks with the puppy, I said, pet me, and goes like, okay, puppy, here, and rubs their bellies. That's kind of the things deal. But recently, there are too many puppies in the shelter. Last time we counted, it was 18 puppies. This is just puppies. There are another dogs out there. The kennels are really full. And 18 puppies, and I think they brought more, and nothing has moved yet. So at least 20 puppies. I can ask Linda. She can tell exactly what number it is.
She had yesterday 45 dogs by herself, alone.
45. She must be feeling like this. Yeah, and if you have one dog, you know it takes a lot of effort to take care of. If you have that many, you can easily imagine. This age goes to all the way out there and comes back. So that when I was dealing with these 18 puppies, and we are a little shortage of the volunteers right now, so that it's like everyone has a lot to do. So one day, Linda just put the post in the Facebook page, say, help needed. Whatever you can do, even 1 hour makes a difference. Please help us. So she put the post on the Facebook page, and guess what happened? That same day, when I got there was a mother and a daughter from Hampton saw that post and showed up and helped taking the dog a walk around. And the regular volunteer who said like, I don't know, I have grandkids now, I don't know when I can come. surprised that day, showing up 7:30 to start cleaning up the kennels for the dog. And that day, when we shared the load of things to do, felt such relieved. It's a very small things, but that really eased up the anxieties that, and the stress was accumulate every day to there's somebody who shared this part of the road just went down enough. Little something made a big difference to me. And I had energy to face the puppies the next day. Jesus woke up from his sleep and calmed the storm. Jesus said, "Be still, peace." And the waves and all the chaos around came the dead calm. The holy silence comes in. To me, that kind of the calmness of the God's divine presence to calm the situation comes in rather the small pieces. Not like the big, I'm in a storm driving, then small pieces, like feel so overwhelmed today, little help comes in as a gift, lift up. It didn't solve anything, it didn't change anything, but just enough to lift me up that day and said, maybe I'm okay. Maybe okay today. Let's face it tomorrow. The holy silence in small pieces in our day-to-day life. That really makes the difference. The example I have, I better read this my example. The example that small pieces which comes, like I give an example as the volunteers who surprised us didn't show up to just take a little part of a load to do for 45 dogs to take care of. Even for 3 minutes out makes a huge, huge difference. And another example is, as I mentioned, I'm tired with all the weekend. I was 3 days out for the welcome convention for this week. And there is no time to cook at all. And guess what? I got a phone call from Arthur yesterday. Told me, I made some chili. Do you want some? And I went, thank you. It's not just because you make good chili. If you never had it, you should. Arthur makes good chili. I don't know other things, but your chili is good. And I was like, thank you. It really calms down a little overwhelming time to just enough. This small holy silence to my heart, and that also affects the people around me because I'm not as anxious as I can be. God's holy silence comes in small pieces. And I wonder that is why we share the peace at the church and worship. That we always doing worship. We do that, peace be with you, Christ, peace be with you. When we do that, we are not thinking, we don't know all the things what's going on in one's life. But by doing that, we are maybe like the story like this in the storm, somebody feeling, and feeling Jesus is sleeping. This when we say, peace be with you. Peace of Christ be with you. To reminding ourselves and also to each other. Christ brings the peace. Not necessarily the huge one, but even the small one, which can make a difference for everyone. So friends, peace of Christ be with you, today and always. Amen.